Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So things are certainly heating up for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market moving into the US election day. Bitcoin's recent price action has been a perfect reflection of the fear and doubt that's spreading throughout the market right now, and it definitely looks like we're in for a crazy week. So let's dive into the charts today and talk about the recent weekly candle close and the potential impacts that the US election will have on the market moving forward, and then diving into our short time frame analysis. Before we get into all that though, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram, and if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so diving into the charts, let's go ahead and talk about our most recent weekly candle close. So we started off the week really great, guys. So we moved all the way up to 73,500, nearly retesting this resistance at the week high here, or our all-time high for Bitcoin at 73,800. But following that rally, we experienced an extended period of downtrending price action over here that has pretty much lasted over the last 4 to 5 day period, right? And so the actual candle close itself was only at around 68,800, and it also meant that we failed to break out of our macro structure on Bitcoin over here, right? The one that we've been traveling in for the last 8 months, and despite such a really strong attempt to break out at the start of the week. So a lot of that has to do with the upcoming US election. Naturally, investors are taking quite a risk-off approach, and also we're experiencing a lot of increased selling pressure because of that election, and because it has a lot of significance when it comes to the crypto market moving forward. So in the past, we've generally seen a little bit of a pullback moving into US election dates. For example, over here, we've seen about a 3% pullback throughout the week. If we go back to 2020, the US election was on the 4th of November for those of us in Australia. We experienced a little bit of a pullback. The overall trajectory was still relatively up, but we experienced some sideways chop and some definite volatility moving throughout that event. And then all the way back in 2016, we once again experienced a segment of a downtrending price action over here. Sorry, I'm going to zoom all the way in. I should have put this on log scale, but I didn't. So yeah, we experienced an 8.2% drop over that 7-day period, again, moving into the election dates. Now, this particular election is important for crypto because of the two different stances that Trump and Kamala have. And I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't really follow it too much, other than what specifically has to do with crypto. But there's a lot of things that, you know, if Kamala wins, we potentially experience a period of quite downtrending price action for Bitcoin, and it doesn't particularly spell good news for risk assets and crypto, right? One of the policies that she's potentially introducing, I mean, you know, it's a campaign, we never know if she's actually going to do it, but the threat is still there. And that is the introduction of taxing unrealized gains on crypto. I think I have a source for it over here. Yes, so the over here on Yahoo Finance, there's the source saying that she is proposing a 25% tax on unsold assets. So even if you just buy crypto and it's increasing in value, you're going to be taxed on those gains before you even manage to sell, which is obviously huge, right? And you know, it vastly discourages investment in cryptocurrency assets. And then on the other hand, we've got Trump, right, who I don't think has got anything in terms of policy, as of what I know. I could be wrong, that will affect crypto, but he's definitely much more pro crypto over here. He's even got his own crypto coin coming out or something like that, and has been seen at like Bitcoin conventions and so on and so forth. So, you know, moving into this election, if Trump wins versus if Kamala wins, we're going to see a very big change in, potentially a very big change in the price action for Bitcoin in terms of the macro scale. So this election is naturally leading to a lot of volatility on the short time frame, and I think has contributed to this weekly candle close being so far quite bearish, right? If we take a look at the price action immediately following that weekly candle close, we can see obviously it's been downtrending. Once again, we haven't broken out of that downtrend on the short time frame, but the RSI here on the weekly chart has also dipped below our weekly uptrend over here, right? So it's potentially flipping negative here. So it's pretty clear that we've got an exceptionally crucial segment of price action moving forward throughout this next week, particularly the reclamation of this RSI uptrend over here, and potentially a look to sustain support on the shorter time frame and see a bounce to retest that upper range of resistance once again. So let's dive into our shorter time frame analysis, starting off on our daily charts and then diving into the smaller time frames. Before we get into the rest of the video, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BTC. We can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards when you create your free account using the link down in my description box. BTC is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. So moving over onto the daily time frame, we can see the sort of same crucial nature of the price action over here on the short time frame as well. So over the last 2 to 3 month period, we can see that Bitcoin's been traveling in an uptrend, right? This is the same uptrend that's taken us to do repeated breakouts or fake outs of our macro descending channel structure, and is marked out by this sell side liquidity point for that macro structure at $49,000. And in the last 2 to 3 month period, I think the last 2 month period particularly, we have been printing consistent higher highs here on the charts and higher lows as well that have been characterized by a retest of that exact same prior high. So a very, very clear and distinct pattern of, I guess, uptrending price action over the last couple of months, right? However, from the recent drop that we've seen in Bitcoin in the last week, we've actually broken down from that pattern here. So the prior high we had here in our uptrend was at 69,000. Clearly on the daily time frame, we have fallen well below that level of support there. And we went as low as to retest the prior low, or the support region, that liquidity zone for that prior low here at 67,000, or just slightly below that at 66.8. So the recent daily candle close was quite bullish. We managed to close above that liquidity zone over here, so preventing a further breakdown to retest the base of that liquidity zone. And so it does show us on a daily time frame that we are bouncing from support. And if we take a look at the RSI uptrend as well, we are very, very close to retesting that uptrend. I think earlier on when we were just wicking down there, we had retested the trend line. So it's good to see that on the daily time frame, while the weekly chart has printed quite a bearish close, the daily and the shorter time frames are suggesting that we're finding support here. We have continued to print, if we bounce from here, higher lows here, you know, fulfilling that uptrend. And as we bounce on support, we can expect short time frame continuations to the upside and a reattempt to break above this week high here at 73,800 and potentially sustain that breakout from the macro channel on a higher time frame. If we fail, however, and Bitcoin ends up falling below this prior low here in the downtrend, we enter into potentially what will go on to form a downtrend in our daily time frame, right? So that is if we close below this lower zone at 65.3, and that suggests that we're going to see a further continuation to retest the trend line or the structural uptrend here on the daily time frame. And at that point, it is very likely then as well that we have potentially broken below our RSI uptrend as well. So momentum is flipping negative as we retest structural support. We also have a level of horizontal support at that point there at around 62,500, right? We can see that level of support and those candle wicks retesting as resistance in the past, and so that will be that key level. If we fall below that here on a daily time frame, that suggests a much larger correction and an entry into a higher time frame downtrend here on the daily charts, falling below this next low and potentially going all the way down to retest the range low of that structure being $49,000. So moving over onto the shorter time frame, the two key levels that we need to be watching out for in terms of either scenario being a bounce on support here and a move to retest the week high, or a move to sell side liquidity and a potential retest of our macro uptrend over here, is going to be these two over here. First of all, being the prior high in our weekly downtrend at 69,900, right? That's the candle close for that high, as well as its buy side liquidity wick here at 69,250, and then our level of support here at 66,700 to 66,800. also being our prior low in the downtrend. So if we manage to break above this structural downtrend over here, as well as this key horizontal level, right, and the buy side liquidity point, the first level we're going to target is that next level of resistance here at 69,500, and then above that we have a volume gap. So if we manage to get an hourly candle close above 69,500, the end of this sort of lower resistance zone over here, we can expect a bullish continuation to retest that next high in that very same downtrend here at 71,300, and then of course above that and breaking through these other levels of resistance in these prior highs in that downtrend, we can expect a range high retest. Upon breaking out, we can expect that higher time frame bullish continuation, right? And opposingly, if we end up moving below our prior low here in the downtrend at 66,800, closing below that level, we very likely then lose this horizontal level of support and can expect a move then immediately into our sell side liquidity low over here at 65,500. Now on the high time frame, that point there of sell side liquidity is just below that over here at 65,200. If we move over onto the 4-hour time frame, we can see that closing within this sort of liquidity zone here, we can expect a move then to retest the low of that zone at 65,200, being that sell side liquidity point on the higher time frame. And that is then when we can expect a move to retest our uptrend over here in filling this volume gap on the lower end of that support region. On the 4-hour time frame as well, if we pull up the RSI, we can see that as we travel, against this sort of level of support here between 65 and 66.8K, Bitcoin has been able to hold this base of momentum steady at 31.7 as we travel within this downtrend over here. So potentially a leading indication that we're going to see a breakout is a leading break here on the RSI, right, the corresponding downtrend, and a leading indication that we are going to see a flush into this liquidity zone to retest the sell side liquidity level is potentially a breakdown of that 31.73 on the oscillator. So that suggests that we're seeing such a steep drop in momentum over the last week that we've sort of lost the levels of momentum that we have sustained throughout this horizontal level of support as well. Over here though, we can see that the last two lows we've printed on the price action, while they've been lower lows, we're seeing some bullish divergence here on the RSI. So we've got higher lows here on the RSI and lower lows here on the price action, suggesting that we should be seeing a higher probability of a bounce here. Whether or not that bounce is enough to break us out of our downtrend and push us above the prior highs over here, that is another question and something we're going to have to be looking out for. But overall, I think be prepared to see a fair degree of volatility throughout the next 24 hours of price action across the US election day. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get 15% off all of your trading fees. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!